That's a big deal. I have a hard time seeing that far away. We can.
Yeah, sorry. I've switched the speaker to the TV. See if that works. He has to turn on his video if I can ask him to.
Sure.
I'm gonna ask him to start his video. Sometimes that works. There, I think it's.
Howdy ho.
There you are. Perfect. Can you guys hear us?
We're just going to turn the volume down a little bit here, Darren.
Okay, perfect. Dave and Brian, you guys can hear us now?
Yes, very clearly. Thank you.
Thanks, Brent.
Perfect. Well, welcome here today, guys. So we are scheduled for 20 minutes for you guys. So we started about 6 minutes a little late, so we'll give you an extension up to the 1:56. So we'll give you the floor, and we want to welcome both here today on behalf of the EACDG.
We'd certainly like to thank you for the time that you're giving us. I guess everybody's had an opportunity to look at the layout that we've had done for us.
Yes.
I forget that they can't see us because we're not on, yeah.
Yes, Dave,
Yes.
It was shared with us, and I believe all of us actually have the package in front of them. And so you can walk us through it or however you want.
Well, the first thing I would like, is Jack present today, by the way?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay, Jack, sorry, I can't see on the screen here.
That's okay.
But anyway, I guess what we also were wondering if you would give a copy of this to Mary at the M&R so that just to see if she had any concerns, being that we've gone from a stationary dock to a floating dock that's removable each fall type of thing.
Yeah, I can send a copy of this to Mary and get her feedback and see,
Yeah,
see where this falls in with their permits or whatever requirements they need to get it installed.
Exactly.
Okay.
Thanks, Jack.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Basically, what we've done is Willis Bowman from Eganville has a very similar style dock that he's had in the water on the Bonnechere for about 10 to 12 years. We looked up at Combermere at their docks, and we also, Sault Ste. Marie, looked at their docks. And this is why we decided to go with a floating dock rather than a stationary dock. What we'd like to do though is find out, I guess, really is the procedure for us to go forward. Now, do you people present this to your engineers or do we present it to your engineers? And that's one of the big things that we were just curious on. Obviously, this has to pass through them and be approved by them. So we just weren't sure what the procedure was there. Maybe if somebody could give us a little bit of insight to that.
Yes, go ahead, Mayor Murphy.
I would think that it would be more appropriate for you guys to go through Annette to our engineers directly. You know, you have done these, you've gotten these drawings, they're very comprehensive. And I think that you two are in a much better position to present this to our engineers than any of us would be.
Okay, thank you, Brent. I think just a couple of highlights. And with the floating dock, one of the last pages you'll see is that the floaters actually have wheels on them. It tells you the capacity, like some have a 750-pound capacity, the others are 575. And with the flotation devices we have, the dock will be able to hold 5,900 pounds, which is a lot of weight. So we're very confident that the engineers should buy into this, I hope. But the technical stuff, I'm not a carpenter. I understand because I've looked at the docks, what's all there and what's required, but I guess the township and us depend on the engineers to come back and say, yes, this will work, or oh, you have to put this extra brace in or something. So that's what we're looking forward to, with going to the engineers. If anybody has any technical questions, probably maybe Dave can answer them, or once it goes to the engineers, we can have them answer them.
I guess the question I had, Dave and Brian, is there a way to make the dock like permanent? So like increase the size of the concrete pad on the shore, and then have it so it's adjustable depending how, if it fluctuates up or down. Like all I'm trying to look at is if say the township has to remove the dock every year, is there a way to make it permanent? So it doesn't mean that it's going to be stationary on the ground. It just means that it's going to fluctuate based on the river height.
Yes, the ramp going out from the cement out to the dock itself is anchored with 3 pins on either side. On the very last page, they show them they're dock link connectors, they're called. They're galvanized. I've seen them. They're very heavy duty. That allows if the water rises or lowers, that the whole structure moves with it, obviously, other than the cement pad, and that'll anchor it in. So yeah, if the water goes up or down a foot or 6 inches or whatever, not a problem. But it also, the way the ramp is designed, it has X bracing through it. It has corner brackets. It's all legged in. It should be more than enough. But there again, if the engineers require more,
we can ask the engineers that question, Brent. But I'll tell you, I helped Willis take his dock out. It takes about 7 to 10 minutes, and we just pull it out with his lawn tractor. It's not a big issue. I've talked to Robbie Dagenet, and they don't have a problem parking it on their property for the winter. There's nothing going on down there anyway. So it's not a big deal taking it out. I think your dock is going to last longer out of the water, and you're risking any damage from ice, I guess, Brent. That's why we're looking at removing it every year. Like
Okay.
like I said, a 15-minute job. And for the first few years, we'll do it because Willis Bowman, I help him with his, so we'll do it and show Kevin or whoever's going to do it. But just as long as we're around, we'd be able to help.
Jack, go
That
ahead.
answer your question, Brent?
Yeah, that answer is more just,
Okay.
I was just more curious on the staff time to do it, and just the ease of it. Because some docks are easy to work with and some aren't, but like based on the plans, it makes sense. I agree with the
Understand.
floating dock. So, Jack,
Okay.
you had a comment?
Yeah, I just have one question, guys. You're talking Willis's dock. Is Willis's dock around the same size as this? Is this dock here?
Yes, actually, it is the very same size.
Okay,
10 by 20.
Now, the one other thing is we can, if for some reason, we can add flotation devices to this without any problem whatsoever. If it, becomes a little, obvious that when they're standing on the far outside water edge, that maybe requires a little bit more there, to add a couple extra flotation devices, that is like, a half-hour job type of thing. They just lag bolt in. And so that's one beauty of it. It can be adjusted to fit the weight capacity. Obviously, the engineers, I'm sure, will tell us, whether we limit it to 8 people or 10 people, obviously, and we put signage up for that.
And that was one of my concerns. I was looking at the square footage and I was wondering, how many people could jam approximately on the dock. And you almost answered my question there, Dave, because, if you have a 2 foot by 2 foot area, for, say, people were crowded there for an event or something, and how much weight capacity would it take? And when you start adding it up on the 200 square feet, you could potentially have quite a few people standing on the surface of that dock. And, as myself in the last few months have put on a couple pounds. And, when you look at 5,900 pounds, it seems to be a lot up front, but it could probably get to that weight.
Geez, yeah.
Expectation,
Like you can
very
have,
quick for people, right?
you can have 20, 200-pound people jammed on there, and I don't think there'd be any more space. So
Yeah.
where capacity is very good.
Well, like I said, I'm sure the engineers will inform us
Absolutely.
what we can do, or if we add a couple other flotation devices to it.
Yeah.
Because each one, if you put 2 flotation devices, that's 1,200 pounds extra. So it doesn't take a lot to add to it. And it's a little hard to see on the diagram, but one of the flotation devices, there's 10 altogether. One of them is on the ramp going out. And there's one at the very end, in the water end, towards the dock. There is a flotation device on that as well. Just to give it a little extra there.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
So Jack's
And
looking
then-
after Mary, and we're going to go and talk to the engineers. If you guys are good with that.
I absolutely think that's the right next step, guys.
Yes.
You put so much work into this, and I think now it's time to just get a sign off on it or see what they have to say.
Yes, I'm sure they'll find something, for us, but anyhow, that's great. The other question I had for council is probably Jennifer and Merv. When I was treasurer of Eagle Area Community Development Group before, we used to have the township pay some of our larger bills in order for the 80% recovery of the HST. So for
Right.
example, if we spend $10,000 on lumber and the township pays it, that 1,300, we're going to save over $1,000 in HST, which is a lot of fundraising for our group. We currently have $27,000 plus in the bank for this project, plus we have the Rotary Club behind us. And I was hoping that we have the trust of council that we're not going to leave anybody high and dry, but it's not going to happen. And the way it worked before, just for Ann's information, is no bill was paid unless the treasurer's signature was on it. Would that be a possibility again, do you think, Mr. Chair?
So just so that everybody's aware, the HST that we recover, it leaves us with a bill of about 1.76%, which it's substantial. So I personally have no problem with it. And I don't think these gentlemen would stiff us, but and I think Annette looks
It's
like
not
she's
going to
happy.
happen.
No, and it was done before, Brian. It worked out well, so I don't see any reason why not. We can't do it again.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
Me myself, I'm perfectly fine with it. Especially, I think most of us could agree that we need a fishing dock in town and need something for the kids and families to go to. So, no, I support it. So.
And we do have the money in the bank for the project. And as I said, we don't even have any money yet from the Rotary Club. So we're going to be well funded for the project. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I agree with as well, Ryan, is you don't want to be giving your hard-earned dollars to weigh on taxes.
Yes. Yes, because even like Merv, yeah, like $1,000 is a lot of money for us when you have to go out and beat the pavement for it. So, so thank you very much.
Yes,
Well, 1 second. Go ahead there, Tim.
No, and I think if we look after it the same way again, Brian, we have the opportunity of expansion on future developments and stuff. I'd rather see,
Absolutely.
carrying on and going ahead because this is a great project that you guys have got behind, and hopefully some members of the community and some of the businesses and stuff are on track with it as well.
Yes.
I do know like I said before, with the name of Vloggers Landing, hopefully a few people will step up and help.
We've
getting,
had- Timmy, we had a very successful fundraiser with the golf tournament. We made over $8,000 alone. So plus we've had a few donations besides. So we're very liquid right now. So just like everybody, we want to spend the money and get this project going.
Well, and before lumber prices go up any further, we might want to get that on the go.
So Brian, Dave, was there anything more for us today, or pretty much Annette's going to get in touch with you guys and get you in touch with the engineers, and then Jack's going to reach out to Mary for you.
Thank you.
Then yeah, so that's about it. We appreciate you guys coming, and have yourself a great day. Okay.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
If this goes ahead, council will be buying you a fishing rod for Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Dave.
Take
Thanks,
care.
guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Okay, Annette, is Mrs. Miller in the waiting room?
No, I have Patrick in the waiting room.
Okay, well, we'll see if Mrs. Miller comes in. Do we have a contact number for her?
I don't. We sent the delegation twice through email and once through
And she got it.
Facebook Messenger.
Okay. So we'll give her a bit of time then, because it is 1:51, so.
Do you want to do correspondence, or do you want me to do my report or anything?
Well, I guess we could go on to correspondence. We'll go on to correspondence A, if everyone's fine with that while we're waiting. Was there anything within correspondence A that anyone wanted to discuss?
The mental health resource card,
Yes.
we are going to push that out hard through our own rural and remote mental health and addiction initiative.
Yeah,
It's
no,
an excellent resource.
no, makes sense. It has a lot of information on it and contact
And
information.
it's so simple, right?
And
That's the
then,
one that we sent out with the tax bills, Sandra, the mental health resource card. That's the one we sent out. Sorry, excuse me.
That came from us, I think.
Okay.
And this is another one that's fantastic.
Sorry, Mr. Chair.
no worries. And then, yes, Murph, go ahead.
Well, I just noticed, I'm just trying to find it, notice one there again, that they want to close down the gas-fired electric plants. I mean, we went to oil and closed them down, and now we want to close the gas-fired ones down. They don't seem to understand that the purpose of these gas-fired plants are peaking plants. The nuclear plants work best wide open. And when you get a heat rate like this, you need peaking plants. And if you're going to discontinue everything, what are you going to do? You'll have brownouts like you do in. Well, yeah, and that's what you'll have. Yeah, and something else that happened when you started off with solar panels and windmills, God forbid you slow them down, so they dump water at the dams instead.
There is that.
Oh, okay, perfect. So we'll just resort back to the delegation. Mrs. Miller, are you there?
Sorry, I'm just admitting her right now.
Gotta love technology. Mrs. Miller, are you there?
Hold
Hi,
on.
Mrs. Miller. Yep. go ahead.
Can you see me now?
No, we can't see you, Sherry. Oh,
Now we can.
now we can.
Yeah, it's
There
kind
we-
of blurry.
Just blurry.
Well, Mrs. Miller, welcome to council, and we're happy to have you as a delegation today. So I will give you the floor for your request.
Okay, so basically what we're looking for is just a more permanent memorial for the First Nations people in the community. I've had people suggesting a mural being done, a lot of people suggesting a garden, like orange flowered garden. And then other people have been coming forward stating that they would like to see a plaque explaining whose territory this is, maybe what's happened to them. I'm thinking maybe put on the plaque like things like that they've accomplished, like people in their community that have like done great things, and also their flags too. They would like to see flags up.
I also like the idea of the wooden carving. Somebody suggested that for the tourist booth. I thought that was a lovely idea.
Yeah,
So
that was
Sherry-
me, I think.
Sherry, do you have any suggestions from the band council as to, you know, what is appropriate and sort of examples of things that we can do? Because certainly we wouldn't want to design anything here without their input.
Yeah, I was thinking of maybe we could look into getting a First Nations artist. I did have one name suggested so far, but I haven't talked to him. Like if we're doing a mural or something like that, apparently he's an amazing tattoo artist, but he can do other stuff too. And I know that there's also another guy there that does amazing woodwork. So I still need to talk to them. I need to reach out to those people. And then it was actually members of the band council that had suggested just privately to me about the gardens, doing up some, and they would like to get the garden. I guess there's a gardening group in Eganville that they would like to get them involved too.
Yeah, Sherry, my view on, I guess, was that maybe we get you in touch with the Horticultural Society. And they're the group that does the gardening on behalf of the township. So we actually donate $1,000 to the Horticultural Society. So potentially we could link you with the heads there, and then maybe potentially we could look at getting some orange mums or something that blooms not only in the fall but also the spring as well. But something like an orange mums is kind of how I looked at it, because it's a blooming in the fall and stuff. So. But that's kind of something that I was going to recommend, was just to speak with the Horticultural Society, try to narrow it down.
Okay.
Yes, Murph, go ahead.
Have you given any thought of doing something with that big rock down at the corner? We put it there with great enthusiasm, and now it sits there as a stone, like adding a plaque to it or something like that. I don't know how the rest of the council feels.
There was a plaque that was going on, Merv, and that was from Chris Hinsberger.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
There
part of
is
the
a- there is a
EACDG. There is a
yeah.
plaque on it. But yeah. But
But what does council think about perhaps a flag at the tourist booth and perhaps a wood carving or something like that? I'm not, Sherry, did you have an idea of somewhere that a mural would go?
Someplace, I think they'd probably like it someplace visible. Either the tourist booth or, you know, like maybe we could get one of the building owners downtown to allow something on the side of their building. Like, I don't know if that's something you guys do or if they do that. Or maybe even something at the gardens, just put up a mural with a really nice garden there. Like, I don't think it has to be huge, but, you know, just something that's noticeable where people are going to be able to go and enjoy it and see it.
so then is your, just so I can narrow it down, Sherry, so is your request a mural, a garden, the flag, and then something at the tourist booth as well, or just those are just your ideas that you're brainstorming currently?
Those are just kind of my ideas, because I understand like it's going to cost a lot. So like I was going to see if we could get as many people as we could to donate stuff to do it, like so it doesn't have to cost the community like a lot of money. Like even for the gardens, we could maybe go around approaching some of the garden centers or just private people and ask them if they could donate some orange blooming flowers or maybe some painted garden rocks or something like that to go with it.
Well, and I think the feasibility, if you wanted something sooner than later, that I think the gardens is something that'd be more like easier to do, like I guess, and then we can discuss on other things as well, like long term as well. But I think gardens is something definitely we could get you in touch with the Horticultural Society.
Yeah.
And they definitely because we have planters in the downtown core that don't have any flowers in them, for example, or we can change the alignments going in next year as well. So I think that's a discussion that you can have with them, and I'm supportive of that, and I agree with it. So.
And Sherry,
And I can note it down.
are you and your are you and your committee willing to to look into people donating and keep in contact with this council, if we can give you some contact names and numbers, especially for some of the business or the building owners downtown.
Sure, like right now, the committee is mainly just like me and my husband. And then I have been talking to Sherry Kahoko, getting some ideas. And I'd probably still ask her again. And then I'm gonna try and talk to the chief and
Okay.
find out what they would suggest, but this is kind of just me and my big mouth speaking up, so. And then other
No,
people supporting behind.
Yeah, no, we appreciate it. And thank you for bringing some of your ideas. And I know, you know, there were a lot of really beautiful ideas on social media. So I think if, you know, I know that September 21st is a very important day, as is September 30th. So I agree
Yeah.
with Brent. Perhaps the starting point would be the flowers, and I like your idea of painted stones. So definitely, I think Annette can get you in touch with the head of our horticultural society as a starting point.
Yeah, and I can talk to some people about maybe donating some larger stones, or they'll probably want to know what size, but like just stuff that we can put there where maybe people, or maybe even get the kids from the First Nations community to paint something on those stones too. That might be an idea. And then it gives it kind of a childlike feel too, like orange stones, but let them paint their own designs and stuff on it.
I think that would be lovely.
Yeah, I'll talk to Sherry Kahoko. So I think she's got lots of little ones around there that would probably like to do that. So.
And there's no shortage of stones around.
No,
And
No,
the price is right.
no,
So,
No, there's not.
so Sherry, I guess we'll get you the information for the Horticultural Society, and then just stay in touch with us, and then we can just develop a relationship moving forward. Okay.
Okay, so maybe you can get Jennifer or Annette, I think it is, to send me the information on Messenger.
absolutely. We will make it so.
Alrighty.
Was there anything else, Mrs. Miller?
No, I was also just going to mention, I was told that Whiskers and Alley Cats might be mentioned in your meeting, and I'm Whiskers and Alley Cats, so I'm one of the people with them anyways. So if you had any questions there, maybe you could, if you want to fire them off to me, you can.
Not this time, but
Not
if we
this time,
have,
okay.
yeah, not pertaining to this, but if we do, then we can reach out to you on a later time.
Okay,
All right, thank you, Mrs. Miller. Is that everything?
yeah, that's everything.
Perfect. Well, have yourself a great day, and we'll stay in touch.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay. So, and now we have
Okay.
the Delcan rezoning.
There we
Like
go.
Sherry. Oh.
You want me to kick you out? In a minute?
I don't know how to do this. This is my first time doing it, so. Oh,
That's all right.
And that'll kick you out, Sherry.
When all else fails, shut off the computer.
just please kick me out. All right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Do you want me to let Mark and Patrick in?
Yes, we'll move forward with that if everyone's fine. Two.
They're both on mute.
I'll ask them to.
Then ask for a video too if they have it. Thanks, Annette.
No problem.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yep.
We can.
Thank you so much.
Hey,
Mark Joyce
hey
here.
Patrick, hey Mark, good to see you guys today. So we have your delegation. It's 2:04 right now. We allotted 10 minutes, but we're going to extend that to 20 minutes in case you do need additional time or if council has questions. So then I will turn the floor over to you, and we want to welcome you here today. It's 2:04, so the delegation will continue till 2:24. Okay?
Thank
So
you.
I'll give the floor to you guys.
Perfect. Well, thanks again. Right now, I think I'm seeing just Pat. I'd like to see the rest of you. I'll figure out how to do that. Oh, there we go. Gallery. Perfect. So thanks again for having us back. It's Delcan, of course, Mark Drouin, Pat Delaney. And of course, there's been, as council knows and understands, there's been some back and forth between Delcan and the council with regards to some of the questions that came up in the last meeting, which I believe was the 22nd of last month. And Delcan has responded to those questions. There was some back and forth, and we noted that we're sort of past the 90 days for our decision. And in the emails back and forth between council and myself, Pat, we were wondering, we were coming to a decision, how we were going to be doing that, timeline, that sort of stuff. And it was responded to us that this would be the time and the date that a decision would be provided. So we're very excited to hear whichever way it goes. One, we appreciate the time and the consideration. And really, that's why we're here today. We're here to answer any questions. I mean, we did follow up with the email and asked if council needed any more information. Then we said no. So we think we've prepared you guys well enough to make that decision. But we're obviously here in this next 20 minutes to answer any questions that council may have. And of course, those answers will be based off the responses that we've already provided, and of course the Cannabis Act. So really, we're here to kind of wrap this up and understand the decision, but also facilitate this process by answering any questions.
So are you going to be walking through your presentation today, or just want a more question and answer if council had any questions?
Well, I mean, I can walk through the presentation if that's what council is looking for. That was provided to them beforehand. It was noted to me that it was provided to council and it has gone. Has everybody, maybe the question being, has everybody gone through the PowerPoint? Does everybody understand the Cannabis Act? That question on the table then, because I'd be happy to go through the presentation very quickly because 20 minutes doesn't provide us too much time. But at the end of the day, it's been provided, and has council reviewed it?
Yeah, like it was provided to us, and it was provided to us. I believe everyone's gone through it and has reviewed it. But my understanding, like there's no, like my understanding as one council, there's no decision that's going to be made on it. I guess the question is pertaining to the previous meeting that we all had together. So did you end up doing like some form like barbecue with the community to speak with them, or like what was the outreach? Because I believe that was council's ask at the last meeting.
Yeah,
so
we've absolutely, that was loud and clear. We did do back and forth with, it was Annette and Mayor Murphy with regards to absolutely not having any event on Delcan property due to the liability reasons. That was absolutely off the table. What came back was to have an event at the playground, which again was off the table. We offered a Zoom meeting and we had no response. So we're here today. We can discuss that, but at the end of the day, in the email that was provided to me and to Delcan, was that a decision was to be made today. And we are past the 90 days for the decision to be made. And we would appreciate, following that timeline. If we're not following that timeline, we'd like an explanation as to why. If there's anything else that like we've said in our multiple emails beforehand, if we needed any more information to be provided to council, which we said was no, and we were prepared, and we believe we prepared council for this meeting. So at the end of the day, it wasn't an email I have here from Annette that there was to be a decision made, and we are past the 90 days. So with regards to the engagement with the community, there was back and forth, and we offered up the Zoom meeting, and I received nothing back from council. The only thing I received back from council was that we'd be a delegation at this meeting and there'd be a decision made. So that's where I'm at.
I respectfully disagree that Annette sent you an email saying that a decision would be made today.
Okay, I may have misinterpreted. I'll just pull up the email again. I appreciate that.
And as you know, I was trying to take a few days holidays, so Annette was actually responding, but I do not believe that was the intent of that email at all. And
So-
I will say that, you know, this document that you sent us is very well thought out. But I think that this document should have been provided to the residents of the hamlet of Floymount that voiced their concerns. I think that, you know, if you know, the property wasn't possible, I don't know why the park wasn't possible, because we are now at 100 people outdoor in an outdoor gathering, then what about going door to door and giving this to the residents and talking about their challenges with traffic and water and odor and, you know, all the things that they brought up. I think that you've had time over the last month and a half to almost 2 months to address some of their concerns at least, or to make them more comfortable.
I appreciate that, Mary Murphy, and that was the point of that, the focus of that PowerPoint. Unfortunately, we look for guidance from council with regards to that public meeting. In response to the park, again, there's liability issues there. We have our lawyers, and there's just no way at a park that has already issues with it that we would hold a public meeting under Delcan's name. And we put that all in writing and we provided it to council, of which we offered the Zoom meeting, and it was left at that. And we thought that we would be able to provide that opportunity if you guys agreed to provide that information to the public through that Zoom meeting. I received no input back. The only input, and I'll read it verbatim. I mean, maybe this is more of a, you'll have to trust me on this one because I'm reading it off my screen. I can provide you the email afterwards. The email provided to myself and Pat from Annette with sorry, with a CC to yourself, Jennifer. I don't know if you've seen it, but it was July 30th. We were writing back to say, hey, you know, do you have a timeline? What are we looking at here? How are we moving forward? Because our investors are starting to get a little bit antsy about the 90 days and the issues around that. So the email that I got back from Annette, and again, I'm just reading off the screen so I can appreciate how you guys, you know, I can provide it to you afterwards, but it's, we have the information you sent. If you want to provide more or other information to council, we will need it by Wednesday morning. The Zoom invite will be sent out Friday. Council will consider your request and either approve or deny with or without conditions. Annette. So, I mean, if that wasn't the intent of the email, I'm not sure, but at the end of the day, we were expecting a decision at this meeting.
Annette, do you want to speak to the email?
So I think that you have to read the emails before that. I don't
I
think just
agree.
my email really clarified that. You were asking when a decision was going to be made, if a decision was going to.
Well, I mean, nonetheless, at the end of the day, we are past the 90 days, so we are still expecting a decision. So, I mean, if council isn't willing to provide a decision, I mean, it's a non-decision, so that's a decision also, and we respect that, we understand that. And if that's the position of council, we respect your decisions, that's fine. But at the end of the day,
I didn't see it at this meeting, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, council made a request. You did not fulfill that request, and that's, you know, that's your.
Okay. I appreciate the fact that you guys are saying that we have not refilled the request, but I would like to point out that through the emails, we have offered up the Zoom meeting. That was our compromise. And unfortunately, we received no feedback from that. And then we come on this call and you say that we haven't fulfilled our request. I can understand that perspective, but I would like to then say, unfortunately, we did everything that we could as Delcan. Did council read those? Like, I'm sorry, but we've offered up those meetings. We were willing to provide a Zoom meeting to provide the information to your constituents that they were requesting over the past meeting, and nothing came back. So we were under the impression that no, there was no response. We offered it multiple times. So we were under the impression that we undertook all the necessary path forward to provide an opportunity for both us and council to engage with the public, and nothing ever came back.
Mark, what you asked for in one of your emails was a closed Zoom session with council. You never indicated that you would do a Zoom meeting with the residents of the hamlet. And if you did, I did not get that email, but in every, even in this document, it says a closed session.
So
I'll take a look at the emails again, but once again, we might have a misinterpretation. But once again, I can appreciate that that perspective. And if it is on the table about that decision, if you guys are willing to make a decision and maybe take a look at some of the comments that Delcan has made in response to some of the public, maybe we can look at that right here, right now, where we have some of the time.
May I jump in here just for a brief moment? Can everyone hear me?
I'll go on mute, Pat.
Hello, hi, Council, Mayor Murphy. Do you mind?
Hi, Patrick, sorry, we actually, we had a bit of a freeze there on our end for internet, so we actually didn't hear anything. But just to clarify, we will be, under a new unfinished business, we'll be discussing later on about the Delcan rezoning as well. So like how myself as a council looked at this delegation was your presentation to council for the information that's pertaining to it. And then council would then have a later discussion on your new or unfinished business on, I guess, steps moving forward. So be it we're like, I'm not in the position right now to offer a yes or a no, because we're going to be discussing that under new and unfinished business on steps moving forward. And if council is still consistent on maybe working with Delcan or the Community of Mount, so everyone's on the same page for the information, or then there's no stone left unturned for information being provided. Because I think that your response and your package that you provide to council does provide a lot of information that does actually put the significant amount of concerns within the original petition. And I think that it does illustrate that. But I think that's for council's discussion under a new and unfinished business part that's later on your agenda that we can discuss as a whole, because this is the first time council as a whole since that rezoning meeting has had the opportunity, all of us together, to actually discuss it. And that's generally what entails after rezoning as well. It's just how the meetings line up in the summertime. We only do one in July, one in August, and that's not an excuse. That's just how the corporation has run for the last since amalgamation. So end of the day, if council has any questions specifically prior to our conversation later on, new unfinished business, then I'd appreciate them asking. So Mayor Murphy, go ahead.
Thanks, Chair. So Mark and Patrick, this document very specifically says closed session with council.
I'm just going to jump in. I'm sorry. I just have to jump in there. I have the email in front of me. It was to yourself, Mayor Murphy, and Annette, both on Friday, the 23rd of July. Again, it is in front of me. I can provide it to you after. It says, in order to engage with the public while addressing pandemic and liability issues surrounding a public meeting, Delcan would be happy to participate in a Zoom town hall meeting. In addition, the agenda would require significant forward planning and the meeting would have to be closely moderated. Pretty black, but I mean, I can understand.
I did not get that email.
I was on holidays. I just got back on Monday. I didn't see it.
So Mark.
Okay, so hang on. Can I continue with my question?
Go ahead, Jim.
If we were able to set something up with the Hamlet of Mount, would you be willing to go through this document page by page, show them the renderings of what the building could look like, show them what your plan is with water, show them what your plan is with traffic, because and allow them to ask the hard questions. I'm happy to moderate. Absolutely, I'm
we have a
Froze. It froze on my screen when Mayor Murphy was just finishing her last.
Yeah, we're freezing still. We're continuing to freeze.
Do you mind if I jump in when we come back?
I'm not sure if they can hear you, Pat.
Oh, okay.
Suggestion to you would be to mail it to every resident of Mount.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mayor Murphy, we froze there for like a good seconds.
Yeah, we'll go ahead there. We'll repeat again. Go ahead.
Sorry, it just came up. Your internet is unstable.
No, and I think I got the gist of what you were saying, Mayor Murphy. just to paraphrase, kind of like, if you guys set it up, if you guys moderated, everything's good and cool, would Delcan be willing to go through that deck word by word, piece by piece, in order to kind of answer the questions from the public? Is that maybe what we got?
Yes, and I mean, I don't want to speak for all of council, but I will say that I think that all of us would be willing to put in the time. You know, this would be a boom for our area. However, I think that the people of Foy Mount, they deserve to have their questions and their concerns answered. Are you going to make everybody happy? No, you're not. But I think that you would allay a lot of the concerns, especially the petition. And in fact, you know, you talk about the park in your document, and you know, you want to be good corporate neighbors. And I think, quite frankly, we don't need to hear that. They deserve to hear it. And so if you guys are willing to do that, and I would say prior to the meeting, I would make sure that every resident of that hamlet had one in their post box. Had a copy of it.
May I jump in here briefly?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, hi. Nice to see you guys again. I think basically the brass tacks of it is we have no problem. We'll make a personal copy for every resident in the hamlet of Foy Mount or what have you. I will personally go door to door and deliver them with gloves and a mask and what have you. I will put these there. I will leave contact information that if they have any questions regarding any of this, be more than happy to answer this. Again, if there's to be a town hall, it would have to happen within like the next 10 days would be, and via Zoom would be the only way. What's happened here is, to be black and white, there's a very, very tiny pocket of people that have agitated this situation. And personally, the opinions of that petition are heavily in dispute. I've personally spoken with 7 people that are residents up there that to say that petition is valid in terms of 43 signatures of actual people is I'll just leave it there. What we will do is I will personally deliver these like we'll have these things printed out. I will bring them. I feel like it's a fairly easy read for anybody. It answers all their questions. I will do that. I'll have these things printed out over the next 48 hours. I will go up there by, we're Tuesday today. They will be in their personal mailboxes or in between their storm doors at each residence. I personally will do this. I'm not going to hire anybody. That way we know 100% unequivocally they've received these packages. I'll leave contact information for any sensible questions, concerns, or just have an open discussion regarding this. But if we don't have a decision one way or another after 14 days of today, we are going to contest this with the tribunal, saying we've received a no decision, and do that. And we just need to make forward every day that we're not moving forward up there via construction, business, or anything. It's costing money. I pay taxes daily up there, et cetera, et cetera. And we've been getting pressured by some of our investors. And, you know, I think it's not unreasonable. So, I mean, I feel like if you look at, you say you have not received some of these emails, we'd be more than happy to resend everything that the banter that's gone back and forth between ourselves and Annette. So if you want to see this, again, the last email was black and white. We're getting a decision today. So I will have these things delivered if this is something that you would like done door to door. By Saturday, they'll have these things and updated contact information via telephone, email, whatever. They can reach out, and any questions will be answered. But if we don't have a decision in 14 days, we're going to have to go to the tribunal with we've received a non-decision.
So with that timeline in.
Does that seem reasonable, Mark? I just.
What? No, for sure. I mean, with that timeline, reasonable to me. Hey, we're on this side. They're on the other side of the table. Of course, it seems reasonable to me. But
Right.
looking at across the table, Mayor Murphy, that timeline of as you've heard from Pat, we're willing to knock on doors, kiss the baby, or what do they say? Shake hands, kiss the babies, all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, we're willing to do that Zoom meeting. But as Pat's expressed, timing, like we're under the gun here. Like we're really under the gun. We want to continue working positively towards everything, but we're getting pressure from up top. Well, to the side, really. Things got to get done. So at the end of the day, we have to do something. And if this Zoom meeting can take place before that something needs to happen, we're fully willing to do that. And I love the fact that Mayor Murphy, I like your style. I like the way you've moderated these meetings. I would fully trust you, and I would be on board with you moderating the Zoom meeting, because that was a big concern. There was going to be some challenges there, but if Mayor Murphy, if you're down with that, you obviously have the credentials to do it. We'd be willing to do that too. Is that something that council is willing or able to put together in the timeline, let's say 14 days?
I need procedurally from Annette to have another public meeting. What's our time frame?
So, I think because this is more of a town hall, it's not a public planning meeting.
That's
We've already
right.
had that.
Okay,
So I think what I was going to suggest is that maybe if Patrick is going around to give these packages out, if we could get the Zoom details on there,
Yes,
and they could go as part of the package. So let's say we had a meeting and I'm throwing out the date of August 19th. I don't know, I'd have to look at my calendar and stuff, but I could get you a date and the Zoom details to go in with those packages. And we could have that meeting, like you said, in the next 10 days. And then we could bring it forward at the September 7th meeting. Without that, I think we're looking towards council and the possibility of a site plan agreement to have everything sort of in writing as opposed to have it dealt with through the.
so I would think that to make it fair, it would have to be sort of a 5 o'clock meeting, right, after work. The 19th is actually our county official plan meeting.
Okay,
So I can't do that day.
so maybe
Are you
because.
guys on holidays?
Well, I don't take holidays, I don't get them.
well, that was what I was about to suggest. If we're going to hand something out, then if we're going to have a meeting date, hand the meeting date out with it.
That's what Annette said.
Yeah, I agree with
For sure.
that.
So
It-
the
I know
18th
it's going around twice.
That's my
18th
20th wedding anniversary.
or the 20th.
Is there anywhere municipally where we could have or host a town hall?
But they don't want it to be.
We're doing
uh,
Zoom. We're doing Zoom.
They want to do.
And
it
you know
by-
what?
And
It
I
would
didn't
be
get that.
easier
email.
to
That's
present
on
that
Monday,
on
Friday.
Zoom.
Put it on my
It
It's
could
own.
be
a
on-
no-brainer, guys. It Zoom, like, let's just move on. It's a Zoom meeting. It's a no-brainer, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be interactive. And like Mayor Murphy's saying, the way that we can present these slides on the Zoom meeting is gonna be beautiful, as opposed to the wind howling and all that sort. And honestly, with the places being there and this public safety and all that sort of stuff, it's a no-brainer. So I would really, really recommend that we just kind of move towards that Zoom meeting planning. And I love the fact that we would just slap that on top, whole package. And it's almost we're preparing council for that meeting, but we're preparing the public. They're able to sink their teeth and they're able to start thinking about the real questions that they have. They might be able to answer some for themselves, but then Delcan is there to pick up the slack through that Zoom meeting. I think it's going to be great.
May I just jump in with one small detail, via if we decide to go ahead with the Zoom town hall? Mayor Murphy, would you be open? I assume you will be the one spearheading the moderation. We would like, if just because of basically the mudslinging that became apparent at the previous council, we would like to have our municipal lawyer sit in on the this town hall to help with the just to make sure none of this takes place as well as that. Just to essentially co-moderate, or just to is that a problem?
It is absolutely your prerogative to have your lawyer present, but I would say that co-moderating, I don't think that would work. I think that I need to moderate if I'm going to moderate. And I think, you guys are putting some faith in me, and my council would have to, and our residents would have to. So I would prefer no. And so with that, we're looking at the next week, unless we're in emo, but it's virtual. What about, oh
So,
no, that's really quick. What about the 24th?
yeah, the 24th is possible.
Well, I think they want it within, try to do it within sometime next week.
Okay, so here's the challenge. emo is,
Whatever
Right,
makes
Katie.
sense. I just feel like a decision needs to be made within the next 15 days would be ideal. Whatever you guys want us to do in between these 14 days, we will jump through any hoop, do anything to make you more comfortable, happy, the public more happy, like whatever you
So-
guys want done, but the 15 days is, we need a decision one way or
So
another.
Pat, just to jump on that, you were saying, I think council was sitting on the 24th, right? You were kind of looking at the 24th, which would be 2 weeks from now.
Perfect.
Then just leaves us, I can keep our guys on ice for that. That's not a problem. We tell them a couple days, don't get me wrong. I've been telling them a couple days pretty long and they've been whatever, but I can keep them on ice for not too much longer and that's fine. So we could probably work with her around that 24th date, but then that question being, when's the decision come after that? Are we going to be looking at, I think Annette, maybe you were saying like the next council meeting, or like, we just kind of need those ducks in line, because if we have to wait literally another month, I don't know if I can keep them on ice that long. I guarantee you I can't keep them on ice that long. So after the 24th, what's the typical procedure to then get to wrapping this up with the bow on top? Either way.
hang on, Mark, we need our CAO.
So,
Yes.
the next council meeting after that is September 7th, but we could call a special council meeting and give notice for that. We have lots of time to do that.
Perfect.
Okay. Well, I mean, we can even do the 23rd if that would make them happy, if it's 13 days, not 14 days. I mean.
You know what? Honestly, I'll take anything, Mayor Murphy.
Does anybody care if it's a Monday?
Perfect.
I think Monday's fine, Pat.
But here, but you can have it.
Oh, no. But the Tuesday is
The
okay.
Tuesday is okay. The Tuesday I'm here.
Okay, so does 24th work for everyone?
Yep.
Perfect.
5 o'clock?
So
Town hall.
five.
Yeah, no, 5 is fine, or
24th.
do we need it later for if anybody is up there
I was
working?
just wondering,
And,
5:30.
and that's the thing, guys. So here's the thing.
Why didn't we make it 6 o'clock?
No problem.
Just remember, you don't have to sell it to me. You have to sell it to these people.
I'm ready.
And-
How
and
do I
this is
look?
the
How do
whole
I
issue,
look?
guys, right? No, and that's the thing. So
I like
I know the
For
incident,
sure.
like what's been going on, and you know where I stood the whole time. What we really have to take into consideration is the residents. They've been
For
here,
sure.
and we can't, I'm not saying we're trying to go at a slow pace or a fast pace. We have to do it right as well.
For sure.
It's just something we can't do. And I'm going to tell you, you've got some pressure coming on you from your guys. Well, we have how many residents in Bonnechere Valley? We get that as well, but
For sure.
4,000 some odd. So you have to take that into consideration as well, right? So I have to make sure and look after their best interest first and foremost at all times.
Of course.
You know what? Absolutely. And I appreciate that. Like if I voted you in, I'd be expecting you to do this for sure. And we're happy to work within that. And we both understand. So we've enjoyed working with you guys, and you guys do have the best interests of the public in mind. Like you guys are doing your job. Kudos to that. Let's work together. We'll work through it. We're doing everything that we can. And you guys are doing a great job as representatives of your district. So we appreciate that. We appreciate your position, and we appreciate you guys working with us.
So end of the day, so August 24th at 6 p.m. and then that's gonna get you the details of the meeting.
Okay.
And then you can provide that on your pamphlet to give to everyone door to door. And then we'll just go from there. And if there's any other communication, then we'll just move forward and stuff. But yeah, is there any other questions from council?
I guess, well, the only thing that if we're doing it the 24th, we should think about if they want a response, we should call an emergency meeting or something instead of
So
waiting.
if we're gonna have a special meeting, then I'm not back until 31st of August. So I'm here on the 24th and I'm here on the 31st.
So then on the 31st, call for a special meeting.
Yeah.
Fine.
We'll have our decision on the 31st. Is that accurate to say?
Yeah,
I
that's,
guess, yeah.
we're gonna call a special meeting on the 31st and we're gonna have the Zoom public meeting on the 24th.
Do I have to
Perfect.
swear on Mark's Burberry tie?
Yeah, so we'll get you the information as well for a special council meeting on the 31st. Is there anything more from council?
No, I just be blunt with you guys. As far as I'm concerned, you've won the technical war, but you've lost the public relations war. And that's what you gotta work on.
I take your advice, Merv. I appreciate that. And hey, half the battle is there, but full battle, we'll continue to work, and we'll work with the public, and we'll hopefully we got a win-win-win here. And I appreciate that, Merv, for sure.
And Merv, this to us, this is not a war at all. This is something this is a positive for everybody involved. Like,
I know.
We know what you mean. We know what you mean, Merv.
yeah, but it's just, yeah.
It's all good for sure.
You gotta sell it. So so then Annette will get in touch with you and then provide you information, and then so do you have anything more for us, Mark or Patrick?
Just to be crystal clear, so we can tell the investors as of the 31st of August, they are going to have a decision one way or another. Is this 100% clear? Just so I can tell them this.
I'll be making my decision on August 31st.
By the end of the meeting.
Everyone else will be too.
Yep.
Perfect.
I think we'll all have more clarity after the 24th. I think that's, you know what? It's wonderful to promise. I mean, I think we have to make a decision. We can't let you hang forever. But I think we need more clarity with our residents on the 24th, with you guys presenting to them.
No problem. Fully appreciated. We're going to do it. We'll knock it out of the park for you, Mayor. Appreciate you taking the time to moderate that. One last question on the technical side for myself. Have you guys done this in the past? And when you have, do you guys have like an agenda or anything like that? Or is it just going to be kind of us presenting the PowerPoint and then a Q&A?
I think for a town hall, maybe just the PowerPoint and the Q&A, because it's not an official public meeting. If it was
Understood.
an official public meeting, we have to put out notice, it's 30 days. But I think if Patrick's willing to go door to door, then that notice is going to be right there in their mailboxes. And I hope that they'll open them up and recognize that this is their opportunity to read the additional information that you guys gave and to prepare questions.
And we'll still
Awesome.
advertise, put it on social media.
Yeah.
So the public knows about it. And
Okay,
because we'll have to
Love it.
advertise the special meeting anyway.
Right.
perfect. Well, we appreciate you coming, Mark and Patrick, and we'll be in touch. And if there's any questions, you can reach out to Annette or any one of us, and we'll just go from there. Okay.
Thank you so much. I'll
guys.
dust off my hiking boots and put some kilometers on the old Heel Toe Express this weekend. And thank you so much for the time. I really sincerely appreciate it.
We're doing Pat a favor. He's a bit out of shape, guys. So okay, we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thanks,
There are
guys.
hills around your property.
Perfect.
Thanks again. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
And that can take 5 minutes, and then we'll
Sure.
go to staff. Can we just,
I'm gonna go ahead and let Mark in.
Gotta do correspondence too first. Finish it.
I was gonna, because we're put behind there, Jack.
Oh, yeah,
I was
we'll
gonna
do
talk
staff.
the correspondence after.
Yeah.
We'll do,
What's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I found it after.
Yeah.
It's been so long, I
Yeah.
didn't realize what was left there.
Yeah.
It's,
We on mute?
I don't think so. Are we back in 5 minutes? Like we usually are?
Yeah.
Who's going first?
are we on YouTube there now?
Go ahead, they're good.
That's been a while, eh?
Yeah, Daryl, so thanks for providing the report to us today. So we'll give you the floor now. You can walk us through it.
There's not a whole lot in here, but we're doing maintenance and hydrants for changes in piping in the plant. We did our quarterly samples, which we have to do 4 times a year. So those are all completed. Sewage plant going all right. We're doing some pipe changes there. One of our air lifts rusted out, so that's getting replaced and stuff like that. So it's always something to do every day.
Besides that, everything's good?
It's great.
Water's running out of the tap, sewer's flushed, and that's what matters.
That's right.
Oh, that's great. Any questions from council? Tim?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask Darrell how our RV dumping station was going, if it's been used a lot or utilized or how
I
it's
don't
been.
know how much is being used, but I definitely have seen 10, 15 vehicles myself down there.
Oh,
So,
Not many is, no, that's
yeah,
more than.
and I've had probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 calls about it, like, when's it open? How do I get to it? Where is it? So on and so forth.
So on my way here today again, I looked and I'm trying to use the perspective of a new person to the area. My ask from the rest of council is are we to the point where we have too many signs up to tell somebody which way to go? Because when we come in off of John Street, we're not quite sure, if that's the right path to take, right? Or if we're coming down the mill, from here, and I'm looking, if you're coming off the highway, would I go there if I had, say, a 40-foot fifth wheel RV and not know 100% whether or not the RV dumping station is down there?
And I don't think I do it with that kind of an RV down Mill Street either, trying to make the turn. If you didn't know the area, trying to make the turn onto the bridge.
So what you're saying is have one at the main lights almost that goes and points you towards.
Something to have, like you would have even at a campground, or as you're going through Algonquin Park, they have the little sign with the trailer and it has the little dump outfit in the back of it. It's a universal sign, I believe. Would that be something worthwhile putting up on our signpost as to what route to take so as to, it does get utilized more maybe? Because I've seen Arizona plates on RVs here a few weeks ago or a couple of weeks ago.
And it is a seasonal thing.
Yeah.
And the day the dog park was open, I saw 2 RVs. So that was Canada Day.
Right.
Yeah.
So just as a, I don't know, if there's any suggestions or recommendations or what?
Is there a universal, the symbol sign you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do you want to look into that?
Sure.
Sure.
We do that.
I know what you're saying
we
about
have-
signage, by the way.
Yeah, and whether or not we should maybe ask that of Jason as well. I just kind of wanted to know from Darrell, what, how our usage was this year.
It'd be more a seasonal approach, I guess.
Absolutely.
Just take it
That's
down
right.
and put it
Put it
back
on.
up.
Or end up where we have our signpost, basically at the end of Fourth Chute, because we do get a lot of traffic off of Fourth Chute coming in.
Oh, that wouldn't be a bad place for them.
And that's, they have their, we have our sign tree up there already, as to what kind of amenities, what we have to offer here in Higginville.
Yeah,
And then you point them down and get them going the right way.
That's-
Instead of
exactly.
coming off the other street.
That's
It'd make
right.
more sense for them to even come down through the lights and around and going through. No, that's right.
I just think if I didn't know that bridge, and I mean, I've never hauled a trailer in my life, I'm not sure if I'd be comfortable doing that route as opposed to doing the lights and then as a
There's,
straight shot.
there's more than adequate enough of real estate on it because we've had the detours with the bridge closed with tractor trailers using it. The issue is if I was an out of towner or a tourist, would I look at Mill Street and say that's where I'm going to go with it, unknowing of what the condition the rest of the road is like? Because we don't have anything at the end of Mill Street and we don't have anything at the end of John Street saying that that's where the location actually is, other than if you went on to the, I believe it's on the provincial webpage. But there's a lot of people that do a lot of traveling without access to that sort of information too, right? You know, a lot of retired people with things and stuff that might be handy.
But that's
for
how
them as
most
well.
people are contacting me, is email.
Okay,
There's no room on the signs that the E EACDG did,
Like the
the
blue
big ones?
kiosk ones?
Yeah, is there any room? I can't picture if there are any blank
No, I
spots,
don't think so.
just as an amenity, but then,
But that one's a tough one too, because there's so much going on it.
I
so
know,
like-
there, yeah.
Yeah.
and now what about the
Remember-
tourist, and I'll have to ask Kevin, is it on our, do we have any pamphlets that are tourist booths that we give out, like at tourist time to people about what we have to offer?
We have the county ones, and I think our station may be on the county one, but I'm not sure. I would have
Is
to
it
look
on
it up.
Google? Like, is it on like Google Maps when people look at it?
I'll tell
Or?
you right now.
I don't know.
Well, it's, I guess really we'll just leave it in your hands to look into it, Darryl.
And yeah, that might be another thing too, on the Google Maps right away, because that would, it's like if you need a garage facility or any other type of facility in the area, it's always on it right away.
Okay, so pretty much we'll just, I guess, sounds.
can get
like we'll
Dana
leave-
to
We have the dog park on it, but unfortunately not the RV dumping station.
We can get Dana to do that.
So, another quick question, there's been no issues with people at the dog park, everything's working fine, smooth there?
Yeah, so when you look, you can see,
Yeah,
Dog
just-
park is right
so
there,
it's right with-
but no RV dumping station. So that would be a whole lot easier that out of towners or
Yeah.
new guys to the area were to know that they're actually going to arrive at that as a destination.
That might be one of the best. parts.
Well, less
I
people,
think
less
so,
people call you, less people email you, and you have it on
Absolutely.
there, and there's the answer.
Well, and if I was planning out my trip, that's probably something I would look up.
And I'll give them,
Yes.
I'll give them the coordinates too, so it's super easy and stuff. so-
Absolutely. And as you can see, it took a couple seconds and we were there. So no, I can see the walking trail is there, but not the RV dumping station. So
So maybe just ask Dana to add it.
Sure.
She's the Google map expert.
Perfect. Anything else for Daryl?
No.
He's already
I don't think we have time, Brent.
This is past is 1 minute.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Daryl.
Thanks, Daryl. Bye,
Thank
Daryl. And then we have Jason
Tim was
here.
just trying to take up some time with him.
Okay,
Yes.
no problem. Well, we'll,
Kevin?
do we have Kevin or?
We
Kevin's-
have Mark and Dave.
Okay.
Jason's here.
Everybody's
Oh,
here.
everyone's
Jason's
here.
not here.
Okay, perfect. We'll just bring Jason and then. Jason, welcome again. Long time no see.
Look down, CJ.
So we'll turn the floor to you, sir, and welcome back.
Yes, it's nice to have everyone in nice close quarters. So we'll start off with the speed data that we had on McGrath Road. So the speed sign was up at the McGrath Road site along the edge of the roadway there. The data was good for people coming from 41 to Opeong. We actually turned the machine around, we took it down a little further towards 41, and there is significant speeding issue, which Pat Serio does know about, so they'll do some patrolling, I'm sure.
It always seems that it's the inlets. It's the tributaries coming into the village
Yeah.
that are the problem, not necessarily going out, right? I even catch myself on 512, I come from the 80 into the 50, I even catch myself because I'm just driving. So I can imagine that it was the other way around would have been worse.
Oh, yes, yes. Number two, Augsburg Road is coming along quite well. We have it all shaped up. We had it pulverized last week. The gravel will be applied hopefully by Thursday this week, Friday, later or early into next week. And then we're all shaped up. I did get some information today, or yesterday, sorry, that the asphalt will be behind a little bit. I will get some more information on that because we don't want to leave it too late.
No, how late, Jason, is the expected timeline? for the
They're
asphalt?
thinking mid-September, hopefully not any later, but I'm gonna do do some,
Is there a, yeah, I don't know.
we'll see what we can, if they
Yes.
come in and do it, because there is a finish date on it,
And
on the contract.
what is the finish date on our contract?
And I can't tell you.
We'll find that out, Jason, because we all know what happens, and I know from my previous experiences working on the road, you know, I've sat on the side of the road with asphalt in the box of a dump truck, and in this first parts of September already, and waiting on the temperatures to rise to the point where we were able to put it down. And that's never as good a quality at that time of the year as it is when it's hot like today, where it just keeps flowing.
That's right.
And that's the whole purpose of us investing, you know, this amount of money into this project, is to have everything flow, so to speak.
Yes.
And I just hope that our contractor is able to fulfill. I do understand there's a lot of things that can be put into place, but we need that asphalt when the temperatures are cooperating. And that was the whole sense of urgency, getting everything out this spring on to get the tenders and stuff out there and going, so that we weren't on the back of the line, you know, taking cold asphalt.
Yeah.
For sure.
Is there a penalty?
Yes.
What's their just timeline, scheduling? What,
It had to do with all the rain.
well, so they delayed your other projects, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So we just lost our time slot due to weather.
Yes.
Let's hope for a warm fall if that's the case.
Yes, we can really hope for that. Number 3, the weed spraying has been completed on Augsburg, Fort Chute, the walking trail. And, you know, it activated very well, because it was just prime. You know, the weeds were just in their prime.
Yep.
When it was sprayed, it stuck to the plants, and as you can see there, it wilted pretty good.
Yeah, I know it's a really good time to do it, because I've been pulling them out of some of the properties and stuff, and if you drive along the roads, like it was just really good time compared to, I know last year was so late.
Yes, that's what they're saying, right? If you can catch it before it seeds,
Yeah,
that's the main time.
no, that's perfect.
When it's growing.
That's right. Also, the line painting has been completed. There was a bit of a delay because of all the rain, and again, you know, the contractor got behind, so
Looks great though.
yes.
It really makes a difference.
It does, yes.
Like, and if I think if I think it makes a difference in my truck, then I can imagine people from out of town and people driving transport trucks, logging trucks, and et cetera. That's really, you know, it's brilliant yellow, so it's great that that got done.
Mhm.
That was in partnership with the county?
Not the line painting for the parking lots, no.
Okay.
That was on our own.
Okay.
But
Yeah, the parking lot out here looks great.
Yeah, so the main line painting for the Connecting Link and all of our other roads has not been completed yet,
Okay.
because that is through the county, and that goes through their process to get everyone done. Greenwood has come in and did some crack sealing on Bruce, and they did that at Fort Chute down at the quarry, get that sealed up.
Did they get the other one? There was one other one, Jason, just before you get to the turn at the bridge end. There was a bad one that exposed. It opened up in the spring, and then I seen it starting to go back together, but it had a good inch or so in it in the spring. That might be, I don't know. I noticed it I don't know, maybe a week ago or so.
Okay.
When did they do the crack? I haven't been down to the other end in a while.
Yeah, it's about 2 to 3 weeks ago.
Because I know right past the quarry was a bad one, but there was another that I had noticed just on this side of where I believe it was Kelby's place on the right, but just before Kavanaugh's pit as well.
Right.
So if you look on the corner just before that, it did open up a lot last spring, and we don't want water to get in there and do that again in the winter. Otherwise, we have ourselves a gaping hole for sure.
Yeah, for sure. We have received our hot box, so we have been able to get it out and use it, and the guys say it is great because you're heated up your coal patch. It's not stiff. I think the temperature they're running at is about 150 to 170, so.
So just about the temperature it is outside right now.
So would they have had that when they did Zado Road last week?
Yes.
I noticed the ash, like the cold patch was in good, it was laying out nice.
Yeah, and it packs in that much better.
Yes, yeah, for sure. Oh, that's good.
One of these days, you're gonna have a big cold patch on that.
I looked at,
But I think they got the beavers there. They seem to
Yes.
have let up.
That's right, yes.
At the beginning, you weren't home yet and they started going.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, for sure.
I agree 110% with you though, Murph. That'll have to be a future discussion.
Yes.
Zado Road.
Yes.
But one with a few others.
Well, I was on it before you guys did the cold patch, and if Tim's saying it's better, then yay, because when I was on it, you know, I could have lost a wheel in some of those potholes, so that's good to know. And if the guys are utilizing it and they think it works better, then yay. So I have a really silly question. With, now that it's hot, do you still have to drive back and forth over it, or does it?
Yeah,
Oh, you do, okay.
You'll have to pack them.
Okay.
But I noticed it looked like it flowed in, like
Oh,
it
yes.
for sure to
Yeah.
the holes like it was meant to. No, that's good.
Yeah, well, it just makes it bond better, correct?
Yeah.
You know, so. Discussion about the trail in Fairfields.
So Brent very kindly sent us a very detailed email, and he also provided all of council with a sort of an aerial map, if you will, of where it would go. And I mean, personally, I think this sounds like a lovely project. I think it'll get a lot of use. I'm fully on board, but I just.
And Kayla will be providing landscape drawings, so they will be getting actual conceptual drawings done. So as soon as Kayla from the Echo Center, which used to be the senior center, has those, then they'll be sharing that as well. But pretty much it's all asphalt. The funds have already been raised for it. And this just, so with the winter maintenance of it just allows it more access, more grants, and just a better even quality at the end. So Jason provided the dimensions to the committee as well. So the pathway can be built. So then the little sidewalk machine can go down it and have no issue. So the bends have been taken consideration. So everything for it. So
Yeah, I looked at your picture there and I seen it was almost like a couple 90s, but it's
everything
more
is
of a smooth transition.
Yeah, it's because any corner you see on it, so there's 3 resting stations, just because like Fairfield's average age is 88. And with the activity center and the Echo Center up there, they get a lot of residents. So you have 61 people living actually down below as well. So the best way to look at it is the reason that was purchased by the senior center in Fairfields was like the land beside, just because it allowed more flow of parking. So when there is larger gatherings at the senior center, it just makes sense because it keeps people off Melanie. So if you ever driven Melanie in the winter, the snowbanks are massive on it. And just especially when you have your population, you're from one area to another, it just makes the most sense. And that's why. And so like this gives access to additional grants that can be put towards not only there's going to be resting stations for benches, but also for activity equipment as well. And that's all. It'd be looking at the exact same thing as, so if there's issues with the pavement cracking, anything like that, that's not the expectation of the township. That's senior center in Fairfield, so we'd be dealing with it.
And Brent, the province loves when somebody presents a grant application and the township is doing anything in kind or is on board with it or sees value in it. I mean, that's how the curling club got grants. That's how, that's the way it goes.
And logistically, like how I looked at it, I allowed Jason to comment as well, but when you have the sidewalk machine that goes up Melanie where there's no sidewalks, that goes to Bell Street to clear out the 150-foot strip, and then does a U-turn back down Melanie, so it makes sense to be continuous.
Considering Melanie doesn't have any sidewalks.
No, and that's the point. You have a lot of people that go out for their exercises on a daily basis, and you might as well have somewhere at least more people can go to. And this service is well close to 100 people or more. So.
And no, absolutely. Logistically speaking, I did look at it there too, and it does make the most sense. And with the aging population of, what our community is starting to see, I think the more we can do to help on their end, the better it is for us all, because eventually, you know, good chance that one of us are gonna be in the need of that type of service as well.
Some service
So,
or other.
But don't,
absolutely. So no, if that works,
and don't you all think
I'm
that
okay with it.
walkability is going to be a very, very, very big thing once the heat breaks a bit and we've got beautiful fall weather? People are getting out. They're using the Geo Trail. They're wandering around the village. I think walkability anywhere that we can make it is really important, especially at this time coming out of COVID, because we are seeing tourists and like, this isn't only for seniors in Fairfield. This is, I would come in and walk it.
What's your expected extra time with the machine, Jason?
It's not gonna be very much. Like I said to Brent, I said, you know, you're gonna be, time you come down Bell Street, you whip around there, you go down and come back up, you're looking at maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah. So,
you know,
and to take a lot of the pressure off and make sure that it's safe for them
Yeah.
to walk and use and utilize, and, you know, it'll be up to a good specification. I think that's the only appropriate way to do it, for sure.
It's a no-brainer.
Yes, Annette, go ahead.
Could we add it to our in-kind for all of the different things that we do for the senior center? Like I know there's sweeping of the parking lot, there's other snow removal that's done, there's a lot of things that we do, and we add it to the grant and the in-kind, and they use all of those dollars to submit to the province to get more dollars. And
They'll
I'm
want
wondering
that.
if we are investing more in-kind, can they even get more dollars
So,
provincially?
so what I can do, Annette, is I can get you in touch with Kayla, who is the person that's running the senior center, that like the Echo Center. So I'll give you her information today, and then you can get in touch with her.
Because I know every year I have to give them a list
Yeah.
and I have to give them an amount and they use it to apply for the
right.
province. And so this could be an additional number
Yeah.
that's on my new list, if council agrees, and then she could use that in her application too.
And you just touched on something, I heard you say the senior center and then the Echo Center. Is it general public knowledge that it did change from the senior center
I
name to
think
the Echo
I
Center?
think about a year ago it switched to the Echo Center, so a lot of people refer to it as the senior center. It's been like that for a
It was at the
significant amount of
AGM
time.
last year.
Okay,
So
because
about a year now, because their AGM, I
Is next-
think,
Next
week.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed it when I'm making my turn going home.
Oh, it's
When I
okay.
see the blue sign, it was the senior center, and then one day it was the Echo Center, and I was
Yeah.
curious to see what happened to the name.
Yeah, and like I don't know like the ins and outs of
Nope.
it, but I know the general kind of consensus from speaking to other like board members was that they're trying to attract not only say your like later in age seniors, but your young seniors that are like 55, 60, because they have classes for everyone there, and that's what they're transitioning to. So
Perfect.
It
Programs
sounded at
for
the
every
AGM like they were afraid that we talked about this also with their dinners that they have, is that unfortunately the word seniors gives the wrong impression to somebody, say my age, that might like to go and do yoga there. So I thought it was a really good idea.
well, I think it's a blessing in some forms that we have people living average age at Fairfields is 88, so there's something really good in our water in the area. So we'll have to tell Daryl to keep it up. But
That's really incredible.
yep, that's what it's been for. We fluctuate to 89, I think, a couple of years ago.
Oh, that's good.
Wow.
And but no, and then I guess the only other thing, Jason, was just so council is going to be discussing the speed 512 speed limit recommendation, I believe, to county. So my understanding from speaking to members of council, and I'm not going to speak for anyone else, but I was for a recommendation for around 60.
What do you
for
think?
Four bends.
Especially after all of us driving it in that convoy this morning. And we were the last truck, and I watched everybody's brake lights at every corner, at every pothole. What do you think?
Yeah, that would be a very suggestible speed.
I'm just thinking, especially going into that, and I hate to put this out there, guys, but you know, the bad weather is coming. Tim just referred to it about construction. You know, it's not gonna stay like this until November. And if we're going to make this request, I think it has to come sooner rather than later so that we are prepared for those bad weather days. Even in the fall, when some of the leaves and the rain, like it's slippery.
Yeah, sure.
So Annette, how would you like us to, do you want this to come from Jason or do you want it to come from council?
It's a request for the speed limit.
Yeah,
I think it should come from council.
okay.
That'd make the most sense coming.
Yeah.
Can we say that our public works supervisor agreed with it?
We have to ask him first.
He said,
He did, he said 60.
Okay.
Well, were we doing much more than, say, 65 today? I think we got to 72 at one point.
So depending on, so I've traveled it with different styles of vehicles, right from the biggest one you can legally drive on our provincial highways to just a regular passenger vehicle. And safely to navigate without actually destroying your own personal private property, I don't think that there's any way you can drive on that road at 80 kilometers an hour
I agree.
from the turn to or to the bridge. And the bridge is nasty, but that's not in the plan. But as you knew from where I was driving, I know the road well because I've been doing it 3 times a day or sometimes more for the last 3.5 to 4 months, right? So
We were following your pothole obstacle course.
well, and that's the thing, you know, if an OPP officer were following you, he'd think you were drinking, but you're just swerving for bad obstacles is basically what you're
And do
doing.
we know from where to where we're requesting it?
So I would say from Miller Road,
Miller Road.
to
The
the
bridge.
Lake Clear, there's no, yeah, you can say to the bridge at,
Harrington, or,
not there.
it's,
well, we could say the Lake Clear Road.
No.
well, the new pavement, the worst part of the road is the bridge.
Yeah, it's above it, so.
So you would have to go to,
We'd have to look and see what the 911 number is.
yeah, it's right across the,
It's right across from Harrington's place.
Yeah,
We'll get it.
yeah,
It's right across from Harrington's place. where the
Perfect.
bridge is there.
that's great. Thank you for agreeing because, you know, one of the things that I had brought it forward before and then I thought not everybody had driven it. But with all of us driving it today, that was something else to watch brake lights.
so one thing I've noticed too, and I mean, I hope in the future the county involves us into more of their reconstructive, whenever they're doing construction in Bonager Valley, please include us in some of the conversation. And one thing I did notice in traveling it as much as I have since May, that as soon as the nice weather comes, there are so many pedestrians on that road. So with Lake Clear
And cyclists.
absolutely. So what is, does anybody know when they're doing the rest of the road? I know we have a good shoulder from Heideman's Mill now back to Birch Creek. It's getting, you know, somewhat of a shoulder
It's
there.
wider, yeah.
Is that their intention of having at least that beyond to the Lake Clear Road? Because it could definitely use it. And not so much just even for tractor trailer, meeting tractor trailer or something, you know, there are a pile of pedestrians there and that should come into consideration.
So it will be realigned, much like the phase that we just went through, and it will be widened. So therein lies the obstacle that we have right now is that for property owners where realignment, and you guys, I'm sure you recognized when you were driving today, where those corners were that need to be realigned. And the county, I understand, is a little loath. You know, how many times today did we say, do it once, do it right? And they don't want to do this without properly realigning and widening to make it the beautiful highway that happens to be in front of my house. And I, you know, again, I watched you all speed up when you got to Highlands.
Oh, yeah.
Every one of you. You took off, and of course we slowed down so that I could grab my truck, but it makes such a bloody difference when the road is wider as well. So, and cyclists on my road, it's on Sunday afternoons, it is quite something.
But I've noticed like from the, there's a lot of pedestrian use. I believe that it would come out of the, you know, from the Opeonga mountainside towards Whispering Pines across from Belos. There are a pile of pedestrians. I definitely noticed a significant increase this year, even over the past. And it's not fair to have them go into the weeds or the brush Because when you see two vehicles coming, the first thing that most of them do is basically get off the road completely because there's really no road left on the
There's
shoulder
nowhere to
to
go.
meet. And with the shoulders the way they've been lately, if God forbid you did touch the shoulder with a vehicle, it's going to pull you towards the pedestrian rather than help you navigate around them. So I hope I hope that you know you guys know that I usually don't like dropping speed limits in any way, shape, or form, but I believe in this case for the looking at public safety and how the condition of the road is, for a new person to come, and all it would take is someone to not have proper shocks and have them bounce on a corner. And I think that it would be definitely in our best interest to urge the county, if they're not moving forward with the construction of the road this year, to reduce it in that area.
It's also the fear that you're on that, you're on a very nice, you come across the bridge and you're on that beautiful stretch of highway and you're speeding along or you're driving along and then all of a sudden you're on this very, very narrow and road that's basically an obstacle course. So I think that this is something that we really have to fight for with the county.
And what would it be? It's a 6 or 7 kilometer stretch there that's in between, and that's exactly right. We have new asphalt on both ends,
That's
so
right.
people get that false sense of security. Everything is good. We're on a straight highway, and then all of a sudden you're into a drift or a bounce. And I've watched people pass me and then go around the corners, and the back of their vehicle literally bouncing off the highway and moving sideways. So. Absolutely. I don't know if the sign is going to help it.
Okay.
I don't know if it's going to help it, but at least if
I reserve
there's.
the right to think that it might not help, but
No.
but I think that we need to at least.
Take our part.
We have to address the situation, right?
So yeah, so a letter from council and
Yeah.
good to go.
That's great, guys. Thanks for the support. And one more thing before Jason goes,
Talk to
the bridge,
to Silver Lake.
the Silver Lake Bridge is open, so household hazardous waste,
Yes.
you can get across the bridge now.
That's right. It's good to go.
Bridge is good to go?
Well,
It's open.
Yeah, Merv, go ahead.
Just a question, Jason. Have you been over Wolf Road since they put the culvert in?
Yes, actually, remember I was over it on Monday.
You seen what's happening?
Yes.
Like, we're gonna have to raise the road about 3 or 4 feet, I would gather.
On the Silver Lake side of it.
Yeah, on the.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah, we're gonna have to bring it up a little bit.
right, yeah, because if the culvert is that high, any little flood is gonna run over the road right
Yeah.
through the culvert.
Yeah, the problem is there, that whole area to the Silver Lake end, it is low.
Yeah.
Um,
I have a suggestion that you may want to try again. A number of years ago, we had a complaint from the owners of the property that had the field, the snowplow was knocking down the fence. And at that time, I don't know if you were around or not, we suggested that if they gave us 10 or 15 feet of the other side, we would move the road over and build them a new fence,
Yes.
which they rejected. I don't know if you want to try it again, because there's all kinds of fill there, and it's handy.
Yes, I actually, this winter, I was talking to the owners.
Yeah.
And Annette and I were gonna work out a deal, written, so everyone could sign it, and then everything would be on the up and up, and
Because you got lots of fill there handy then if
Yes.
if they go for that, and it
yes,
solves 2 problems.
that's right, yeah.
The other question I have, I got an email from Teresa Hibb from the ATV club, and apparently she sent an email into the township, I don't know. But they're grading the rail line.
Okay.
And they got up to the old railroad tie bridge there and they wouldn't cross it, but the grader. You know what I'm
Yes.
talking about?
Yes.
And I don't know if it's worth looking at again and throwing a pipe in there. Like, those old ties have been around quite a while.
Yes. Okay. That's the one closer to.
Gorman Road.
Yeah.
Just
So
like one-
maybe send Jason an email and then Jason email Merv and then Jason can look into it.
Okay. Okay.
Was there anything else, anyone?
Do you want to go into closed session now since
No, we'll be doing that.
Jason has to come back?
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Perfect.
Good, thank you.
thanks for all your
Jason.
time today, Jay.
Yeah, the grader pin refused to cross it.
Yes, yeah. I can see why.
And I haven't been across it lately, but then the cyclist that put some plywood on it to get across, and I don't know whether the groomer peeled it off or what.
Yeah, I was down there, oh, that was probably 2 weeks ago. There was nothing left on it other than the ties.
Yeah, yeah. And that unnerves them because they move around a little bit. I mean,
Yeah, so just send him an email,
Yeah, yeah.
Merv, and then we'll just go from there. Jason will, Ned will contact you for the meeting a little later on, okay?
And just a little useless information, it was built around 1890 to 1993.
Lasted very well.
Perfect. Thanks, Merv. All right, thanks, Jason, for the time.
Thanks, Jay.
Do we have Kevin out there?
Yes, we do.
Perfect. Jack, you want to,
He's coming.
oh, okay, he's coming.
He's
On his
coming.
way.
He's on his way.
Hey, Kevin, how are you today?
Kevin, how are you today?
Very well, Brent. Yourself?
Oh, not too bad.
Good to see everybody back.
Yep.
In the circle.
All right.
Sorry for the delay there, Kevin. We had 3 delegations today, so it took a while.
Not a
But
problem.
we're back on schedule now, so we'll let you go through your report and go from there.
Okay, well, first I want to thank Jennifer for at our golf tournament for all your help, the front greeting and doing our part to help us out.
How did we do?
It was a good. We had 68 golfers, a few teams. It's like backed out kind of deal, but all good. Good day. Financial wise, we made about $2,500, give or take. So everything was down a little bit this year. Last year we had a phenomenal year, a little different this year. So overall, it was good.
You had a lot of competition this year,
We did, but hey, that's every year. So that's
but everybody needed to fundraise this year, and I think the golf tournaments were the way to go.
oh yeah, for
just
sure.
You know,
No, it was good. Thought it was god awful hot, but we're okay.
that was god awful hot. I went home and had to put an ice pack on the back of my neck.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I don't know how you guys golfed. Seriously, I couldn't have. There were people coming in that weren't our golfers that had teed off before, and they were coming in saying, we got to 14, we can't do anymore.
No, it was, it was pretty extreme. Okay, so anyways, for the arena, we're doing a nice scheduling meeting this Thursday night. So our user groups all contact. So come September 18th is our first full day of ice time moving forward. So everything goes good. So that's the direction we're heading in for the rink. Centennial Park, just basically maintenance and doing tilling of the playgrounds, security cameras, 2 new security cameras were put in and installed.
Is one of those at the tourist booth?
Yes.
Oh, good.
So
I had to chase kids off from sitting on the time capsule. And they were trying to get the rocks to move. So I figured the camera wasn't there, or they happened to know that it wasn't in operation.
it's, no, they're working now, so that's,
Great.
we've been fortunate, everything's been going good, so no vandalism, so that's a bonus.
Perfect.
The Legion Field, still, the high school is renting the ball fields, 3 nights to 4 nights a week, so that's going really well. The toy bus is up there on Wednesdays for an hour, just using the splash pad plus using other toys. Other than that, general maintenance around the township, the village, I should say. Playgrounds and inspections. Opeongo Park inspection, we put up a basketball net up there. So it's
Just up at Foy Mount, just on the park, we just had a request by Trudy Kier just for children at play sign
okay.
for the park, so maybe something to look into.
And maybe can we send that email to Kevin so that he can touch base? I'm not sure exactly where she wanted them. She was speaking about 2, I believe, and one would probably be near the playground. But there are a lot more young families living in, obviously you've seen them, a lot more young families. So I don't think that this is a terrible request. I think it would
Wherever
be
legit,
supported.
wherever logistically makes sense, because if they're playing now, they're gonna play in the winter, so.
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
gotta-
But I think they're walking and playing around even on the main drag. She was hoping just so the people when they're coming in, they can realize kids are walking throughout the whole village now because they're
Okay.
interacting. So I think like say touch base with her where she had them in mind.
Yeah.
But my general consensus is throughout the whole village.
So
So it might
maybe,
be place.
Well, and she would be speaking to
Yeah.
other mothers
Yeah.
up there as
Yeah.
well that
So-
might have some ideas.
Well, just, yeah,
Yeah.
play strategically at the bottom, the top, and then
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
your left
Just-
side there.
I'll
But
have to talk
yeah,
to- talk
the
to
amount
Jace,
of
yeah.
new families up there with young children is
Yeah.
quite something.
No, I appreciate that, Kevin.
Okay. Old Belmont Park, like I said, the basketball court.
Mhm.
Rotary Beach, the landing hub. It was quieter in July, but this last month, with the weather, items are going in and out pretty steady, so it's going good.
You mean people want to be in the river? Wow, couldn't see that coming.
That's pretty much my report, and that's the Dana's report, I guess, you have noticed more, like, you already have the information on that.
Yep.
I asked Dana, was there any items that really needed to be talked about, and she didn't really say there was any items that, big issues, so everything's moving forward on that, so.
Nope, that's perfect.
That's pretty much my report. Any other questions from council?
Nope, that was the only thing that was brought from correspondence, so is there anything else for Kevin before he goes? Perfect, thanks, Kevin.
Oh, that wasn't an email, that was a
Yeah.
message.
Yep.
Yeah, as long as Kevin has her digits. Yeah.
I have the original email from Dana for that one. She
But
said,
because she sent it to
Yeah.
my messenger,
Oh,
that's
okay.
why, yeah.
Do we have a phone number?
yeah, we'll get it for you.
Actually, I think her phone number's on the petition.
Perfect, thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
Have yourself a great day.
You too. Thanks, Kevin.
Make sure you wear sunscreen, eh? It's a little toasty out there.
Yes.
I've never worn so much sunscreen in my life as last Friday.
I only put it on when I'm around the kids. Besides that, I'm pretty good. Got a good base layer.
It was very warm.
Perfect. Annette, can you just check if Dave's there? We're running obviously behind, but
Dave and Mark are both online right now. I think just waiting for them to be called up to the carpet.
okay, perfect. So we'll bring on Dave.
Okay. I asked him to unmute and to
Perfect. Thank you very
video
much.
on. Maybe he stepped away from his phone.
You should just send an invite to, or the same message to both Mark and Dave and see whoever responds first. Good to go.
Oh, Mark. Oh, there's Dave.
Hello.
Hey,
Hi
Dave.
again.
Hey, Dave, thanks for coming. Sorry for the delay. We had a couple
okay.
delegations.
Or I couldn't hear anybody over the compressor going.
Yeah, no worries there, Dave. So we'll just we'll give the floor to you, but good to see you again.
Good to see everybody together again. That's great. Starting anew together again, which is awesome. So my report for council, our call rate is we're pretty much on par. We're average, averaging it out. Probably the same amount of calls as last year, maybe a little bit more, depending on how busy this winter is for us. Things seem to be going fine. We're still I think majority of our fire staff is double vaccinated now, but we're still doing our protocol is still the same as far as indoor spaces and masking up and doing our best to keep distant so that nothing happens, especially with the new variants that are out there. or at least the one new variant anyway. So we are being extra cautious still. We decided last year, and we've sort of made some investments in the last couple of years to upgrade the lighting on some of our older trucks. We found that the standard lighting that came with them is starting to dull, starting to dim. So we did get a good line on a supplier that's very reasonable to start switching out some of the lighting to LED. And it's made a huge difference in our visibility daytime and nighttime. So we're working on that now. We've got some lighting equipment in the office that's in the basement now, and we've been slowly picking away at changing the lighting out. So that's something that I wanted to do for the last couple of years, just because the factory lighting isn't always necessarily the best, especially on some of the older vehicles. So a little more modern touch. Also adding some blue to our vehicles as well, which we're allowed to do. So that's ongoing. I did talk to, so we were doing community safety net again. Our prevention people, including myself, are really looking forward to getting back into the schools this year. We're just not quite sure yet what we're able to do. And I don't know if the teachers or even the school boards know what we would be allowed to do as far as group gatherings and doing some prevention. So our community safety net has partnered with us again to help us with our fire prevention materials, and they go around to different businesses and get sponsorships, and the sponsorships pay for the materials. So depending on the different level of sponsorship a local business would be, so that's a big help for us, because as always, I've talked about prevention materials aren't free, and we have to pay for them out of our budget. And it's nice to have something that's a freebie, but a donation from local businesses and local people, which is good. I talked to our communication person. The Parrot repeater from that new radio system will be installed before the cold weather hits, sometime before the fall. It's just lining up. We finally got all the equipment in. We did have a delay in getting equipment in. Now it's just a matter of scheduling, having him come in and fix it up, installing backup battery, installing a heating system in it, so that we know that the backup Parrot repeater, well, it's not a backup repeater, it's just a Parrot repeater, will be good come wintertime. And we still have plans. I've been back and forth with our person that I'm planning on doing dry hydrants with. Those plans are still in the works. It's just once the shutdowns lifted, the lockdowns lifted, contractors have been extremely busy, and it's just a matter of finding the time to be able to plan it and get it and execute the plan at some point, hopefully before freeze up this year, depending on how busy they are. Hopefully. It'd be nice to have a couple of them outside of the town limits, where we're dealing with ice and bodies of water. So, but other than that,
those dry well, Dave's, that's the one on Constant Lake, the bridge, and the other one on Lake Clear.
On Lake Clear, yeah, that's the that's the goal, yeah.
And those are already budgeted for anyways to get done. It's just more just dealing with the contractors. That's not.
Actually making it happen. And I have talked to them several times this year so far, and it's timing is everything right now. And everybody seems to be so busy. So
that seems to be the story with every one of the department heads today is, delays due to weather and COVID and everything else. Sure. Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely. So the proposed contractor, or the person doing that did the estimate for the fire hall, stopped by in Renfrew today, and I talked to him about the additional estimate with regards to everything but the building. So he's going to work on that, and I just wanted to confirm with council, do we in fact want a separate estimate for a brand new build?
Yes, please.
Yes.
If we do, then okay.
I think that what this council is saying is that number one, we want to make sure that we're making the right decision. Again, do it once, do it right. But I think that we also are cognizant of the fact that some people might not think that adding on to this building or renovating this building is worthwhile. And I think that we've sort of said, let's find out what the cost differential is prior to making any decision or looking for grants.
We definitely need a comparison.
Yeah, my position is doing it will send a couple $100,000 of repairing that one, we go new.
Yeah. Well, we have to get the cost.
We
Yeah,
have to get the cost.
definitely.
We'll have to look at it.
Okay, I told him I would relay that info to him so he could start working on it. And hopefully, I don't know what kind of timeline it would take, but I would imagine probably not next council meeting, but maybe the one after, we might have some numbers for council.
Perfect.
Good.
Is there anything else?
We could
No,
ask
no, we're everything else seems to be going okay. We did have a big slowdown with the MTO as far as being reimbursed for calls. We just got our latest deposit. This is from last year. So for $4,100 claim that we just got put in our bank account. So which is good. They're slow, but they're making things happen. So.
Okay, perfect. Any other questions from council? Perfect. Well, enjoy your rest of your day there, Dave, and thanks for being patient with us.
Thank you.
Take care.
Take care.
I'm waving at the TV, like you can see me.
Makes you feel good.
No, that's funny though.
Well, we have Mark now and he's ready, prepared, and in his vehicle. Mark, how are you today?
Good, yourselves?
Perfect. So what do you have for us today, Mark?
Okay, start bylaw, the normal stuff, dogs, long grass, parking. I don't know if anybody has any questions on bylaw or anything.
Not on bylaw, but I was pretty impressed with the amount monetarily of the building permits.
Okay, well, we'll go on to that. Yeah, permit numbers, they've surpassed the total for last year. Last year we had 5.5 million in estimated construction costs. This year now already we're at 8 million for that report you have. But already in August, I've issued permits for over $1 million plus in construction costs. So that's
and Mark, it's not going to go anywhere when you're still buying homes in the area for 100,000, 200,000, and people are going to throw in 50 to 100,000 or add a couple of garages. So it's a positive just because that's what helps offset our future costs for like tax increases. It's a growth factor. That's positive.
Yeah, it's a good growth. And two, those are, just estimated costs of construction. You can pretty much add at least 30% on there, like for actual construction work taking place.
And add another 30 to MPAC's decision on what the building permits were.
Yeah, MPAC make their own decisions on that. Anyway.
Yeah, they do. Apparently our garage is worth $185,000, so I didn't feel that. Yeah.
No, that's good news. So anything else for us, Mark?
Nope, no, it's all rolling along good.
That's good. Well, have yourself a great day. Any other questions from council?
All I want to say is I'm seeing some rafters above the tree line now in the mansion on the lake down there.
Oh.
Yeah, that one is going to be, that one, the estimated cost is going to be, they give us a pretty good estimated cost on it, but MPAC is going to have a pretty good dollar value on that one.
Yeah.
No, appreciate you coming here today, Mark. It was good seeing you earlier today. So have yourself a good day and we'll talk later.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Mark.
Bye, Mark.
Bye.
Perfect. So now we're on to Annette.
And mine's fairly quick. So
Yep.
unless there's questions on the financial report, the written packages, and Mayor and I are attending the AMO conference next week. So when I wrote this report, we had delegations from the Ministry of Transportation and the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing, and we now also have the Ministry of Health. So we have all of those on Monday, pretty much bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
So-
But let's tell council what they are.
Okay.
So the Ministry of Transportation is about busing, because we know that that's been a hot topic. The Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing, once again, is about reporting requirements, and as we saw from Daryl's report, you know, they're onerous. And we have a delegation with the Assistant Minister Tobolo from the Ministry of Health about our mental health and addiction initiative that was born right here in Bonnechere Valley. So I'm really excited, and there are some really good plenary sessions at this AMO conference. So I'm excited to bring back a lot of information. Funnily enough, ironically enough, one of the sessions is about municipalities and medicinal grow-ops. So that should be an interesting plenary to attend.
Where's AMO this year, Ottawa?
It's virtual.
Oh, it's virtual. Oh,
Yeah.
It's perfect. No hotel costs. It's great.
Well, and no conference call.
Well, would allow you to have a little bit of, you know, refreshments while you're on virtual.
No.
So, in your own.
Put it in a coffee cup.
Yeah.
No.
Okay,
Anyway,
Annette, go ahead.
So I did, so there is a pay equity report going forward to council in closed session today, and recommendations to go forward at a future meeting. The Renfrew County proposed development charges. So I did some research on that, and I just received an email today that said they're not moving forward with it. So I don't think we need to have much discussion on that.
So my rant on the front page of the paper was all for nothing.
All right.
That's too bad.
Sale of surplus assets. So the truck that was jointly purchased with Multiple Wilberforce for the CBO, Mark is now using his own vehicle and paid a specific mileage rate in his contract. So we might as well sell that vehicle because nobody is using it at this time, and we already got the appraised value, and Multiple Wilberforce agreed to their half. So that's all settled. We just need to advertise it and sell it.
Perfect.
And well, council has to declare it surplus at the meeting even before we can do that. And you already saw Dave's report, so I don't have any questions, but that's all I have right now.
On that busing thing, what were you referring to? In your, like busing in what regards for?
Like Greyhound.
Greyhound.
Yeah,
Northern
yeah.
Ontario.
Sorry, I should have been more specific,
Yeah.
not school buses.
No, just.
Yeah, because obviously, you know, they reduced, and then all of a sudden we have no busing, and people are finding it very hard. And since, you know, our mass transit is the big black thing with the yellow line down the middle, we don't get provincial gas tax money, which means that we don't really have an opportunity to do other transportation that could potentially get people to work around the county or even outside of the county. I know medical appointments, we have wonderful volunteers, and we've got Care For and Sunshine Coach, but other opportunities I think need to be explored. And I know that our neighbor James Rose is right on board with this as well. This was actually something that he took up the charge for. We were just lucky enough to get the delegation.
Yeah, and more funding because we're all paying into it. Like you said, we're spending the money in the gas tax, and we're only receiving a small portion back for which goes to Sunshine Coach.
Exactly.
So is that delegation Township Bonnechere Valley or our township in North Algona?
These are just us.
Just us? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect.
And Dan, Annette, you can send out the reports if you want, so the council can. Yeah. Why don't we do that? Then you guys will know what we're talking about in our delegations next week.
They're just 2 pages. They're not.
Yeah, they're not.
We've only got 15 minutes.
Or at least it gives us the concept.
Exactly. So we, yeah,
That's perfect.
Yeah.
And was there anything else in your report that you wanted to discuss, or that's everything?
That's everything.
Perfect. Well, thank you for coming here today, Annette. It's really appreciated.
Brent threw humor in, that's fantastic.
Not bad, eh?
That was good,
Yeah, that wasn't
I
bad.
appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
yeah,
Well, Tim's such a good chair sometimes that I have to add some humor in for you guys.
right. I thought maybe it was the growth of the beard was
Nice.
making you funnier,
I guess so. Eh?
right?
Santa Claus looks.
It just depends what it's. You're just jealous because it's loud.
I told him.
That's what you're
to-
jealous for.
Mine is pure white. Oh,
Yeah.
All right.
boy.
You know what? Maybe
Yes.
we are a little jealous that we have to
Yeah.
die to, yeah.
Yeah, it's all right. There's no just for men. That's the guy, guys. So we'll go to correspondence. So correspondence A, we've already discussed.
Well, I have something correspondence.
And then correspondence B, we can move. You had something in correspondence A there, John?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I just wanted to, because we were in the middle of it there.
Yep.
I just wanted to bring up that letter that we received from Tom Fligel about his,
Oh, that's in B.
that's in B or is that in B?
No, that's in B. That's in B,
Is
Jack.
it?
I was gonna
Yeah.
bring it up too.
Okay.
It's
sorry.
in B.
Yeah, but we can, but since there's nothing more in A, we've already discussed the
Sure.
mental health numbers. So we can move on to that, Jack. So go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to bring up that letter regarding Tom Fligel about his letter we received concerning his 4-acre lot on Wetland Road. I think, and you can give us, council, a little bit more background on that so that we know where it's at and what Mr. Fligel can do in the case of this, or what his options are, if that would work.
Sure, yes, no, we've discussed it with Mr. Flago prior to, but if we wanted to know if there was anything else that council thought could be done in the discussion. So basically, when the zoning bylaw, the comprehensive zoning bylaw was done in 2006, the property, maybe it was done before that. I didn't go back prior to that because it wasn't relevant. So once it was passed in the comprehensive zoning bylaw as aggregate reserve, at that time, of course, there's public meetings, we have discussions. Does anybody have comments on the zoning, that kind of thing? And no comments came forward on that being zoned, aggregate reserve. Now, maybe it was like that in the prior, but that would have been the point in time for Mr. Flagle to come forward when we were reviewing the whole bylaw in 2006 to say, I got a severance from the county for this property. If you make this zoning, and maybe it was already, like I said, reserve, but if you continue to have it as reserve, it's affecting my property. But nobody came forward, nobody said anything, so the zoning bylaw was passed, and it's been that way ever since. So now, I guess Mr. Flagle wants to develop that property, but because it doesn't meet the setbacks from that zoning, there are two ways, of course, to correct that, because when you pass a comprehensive zoning bylaw, you can get a zoning bylaw amendment because it's not always perfect, right? Not everybody, thinks of what the use is going to be for their property at the time. So you can either apply for a zoning bylaw amendment, which is probably going to require an aggregate study, and have that done, and then council can consider, reducing the setback in order for that to be a developable lot. Or he can wait, I don't know if it's going to be 6 months or however long it's going to be until we do the comprehensive review of the zoning bylaw, and we can look at correcting it at that time. So those are the two options that were provided to Mr. Flagle. And there's no other, the zoning bylaws passed now, so it has to be changed through the Planning Act, through a zoning bylaw process. Those are the only two processes available to us, either through an application or through a comprehensive review, which luckily we will be doing in the next few months. So I don't know.
I don't understand how mineral aggregate can't have a setback from a residential lot. I think that's where my confusion comes in. Under the provincial policy statement and under our official plan, certainly there's got to be a setback at that property line that doesn't sterilize Mr. Flegel's lot. And that's kind of bothersome to me, actually.
Yeah, so I think that if he did make an application to have it amended, to have the zoning amended, to have the setback reduced, council would look at it at the time, and there would have to be a study done to make sure it was okay. Or when we're looking at the comprehensive zoning bylaw, maybe there is something there that we can do for him. Because the severances were done prior to in 1993, and I don't know when the zoning changed. Like I said, I didn't know when the zoning changed for that property decided. but it's been that way since 2006, and we would have had public meetings at the time. So it's just unfortunate nobody came forward at the time and said, no, this can't be zoned that, or, you need to, so.
Could we ask Mr. Flegel what his timeline is for wanting to build something on this piece of property?
I think he wants it done as soon as possible, but the only two ways are, like, if he files an application, there's still 3 or 4 months.
Is there not a way we can find out what the actual setbacks are?
That's what I was gonna ask. I mean, there
Like,
has to be
can we
some-
not
They're
contact?
pretty much his whole, like, it makes his lot of it.
Yeah, but where are the setbacks from the edge? Do we know what they are for the current,
Yeah,
For mineral aggregate?
I can go back and look, but it takes you basically, it's almost his whole lot. It's pretty much the whole.
no, but so,
That's so unfair.
What I remember is you have to have a setback from your property line. So you're
That's
not
right.
sterilizing the property on this end. Well, what is the setback there for the aggregate?
It's almost his whole property.
no, but
No,
the
what's the
setback
set
from,
of the mineral aggregate?
Oh, it's right to the line. No, it's right,
That can't be. That can't be, right?
Yeah.
but it's a reserve, right? It's not an
It's not a-
active pit. It's a.
Oh, it's a reserve.
Oh.
I've seen that this spring when I was looking at property to purchase too, and it was all zoned the
Yeah.
same way, and it wasn't an active pit either, but it was there, and there's no way I could develop on it, so.
Yes. Now, he can apply for a zoning bylaw amendment and reduce the setbacks, which again would require a study, or we can look at the whole situation when we look at our comprehensive zoning bylaw and see if we can find a solution for it.
Yeah.
In your opinion, what would be the quicker way to do it?
I think either way, like if we're looking at our zoning bylaw, like we wait for the official plan, which is coming.
Which is
along,
next
so,
Thursday.
But I mean, it's gonna take time for us to look at our whole comprehensive zoning bylaw and have public meetings and so on. So I'm gonna say 6 months. I don't know. If we're looking at the zoning bylaw application and the study and so on, you're looking at least 4 months. So you're really, you're gonna spend money and time on it. It's gonna get you almost there anyway. Or do you just wait and see if we can come up with a solution, whether we change that reserve, whether we, what can we do? Can we zone his property an exception
I
zone?
know.
What can we do?
Do we know, is there,
reserve shouldn't go to the property.
No, it shouldn't. That's so unfair.
do we know if
That
there's
is-
actual aggregate on this property? Because going back to when these aggregate things were formed, there's quite a few areas where we said, no, there's no aggregate there.
So when we're doing the comprehensive review, those are the type of things that we're gonna be able to look at. And we probably could have, if it was brought to the township's attention in 2006, when we were doing the comprehensive review, it could have been brought up at that time, but it wasn't. So now it's passed. So the only way to change the zoning
So
bylaw.
this is all the red tape and all this stuff.
I know.
Exactly.
And I, the unfortunate thing, I see this all the time on, like, you're just trying to, you look at something, you're like, oh, I could put a nice house there. I'm not sure his plans are, probably a residential house or something. But it's like, like, it just takes so long to do something. And then people just end up sitting on it. And then when the opportunity comes again, or it costs money to do it. And it's just unfortunate. That's what I said in the email, was I said, it's too bad that there wasn't a grandfathered rule that, oh, I didn't know about this, and here's my documentation with severance. And then our township was just like, yeah, you know what, that makes the most sense.
And
And
Exactly,
just sign
yeah.
off on it.
But I'm
and that's it.
totally with what Jack just said. There's no way that reserve should go right to the property line. That is completely unfair. It's just dead on wrong. And the red tape that Mr. Flegel's gonna have to go through for something that he didn't do, that he had no part in. This is the unintended consequence. And it sounds to me like the 5 of us, all we wanna do is fix it for him.
But we have to go through the planning process to do that. So it's a perfect opportunity when we look at the comprehensive. I know that that's probably 6 months away, but an application on his side would still be about 4 months away. So I mean, and that's why it's there, right? That's why the zoning bylaw amendment applications are there, because we know that the zoning is not always perfect and sometimes it has to change. But the process is,
We can't just do a minor variance.
no.
No, and I've seen this happen too with wetland designations and stuff too. Where people went to get a small permit and they can't do it because it's considered wetland.
Beavers built a pond.
Well,
And that's so unfair. you know.
And we don't have wetland on our property. It's a little boggy at the back because of the pond and the culverts. And when we went to sever the front of that almost 3 acres just past Whitkey Road, one of the things the county said was, don't go any further back than this because you could be running into what they would consider wetlands.
So anyway, both of those options have been brought forward, but I think he was hoping that there was another option available to him. I'm not aware of one through the Planning Act. I talked to the county as well. Those are the methods that are given to us. He can either file for an amendment, or he can wait until we're doing the comprehensive review, and at that time we'll have public meetings and we'll review all the documentation coming forward, and we can look at how we can assist him at that time.
I think we can honestly tell them that we'll be looking into it when it comes forward and see what we can do. You know what I mean? Because we all understand that it's what happened is not appropriate for the way it should have been done.
No.
Because if he had the severance prior to this and then all of a sudden you changed the zoning and it then encroached on what he had, so.
Yeah, that's no fault of his.
No,
And
so we should, I think we can honestly tell him that we'll be looking into it. And that's, maybe that will appease him, you know, for.
We'll do everything on our part
Yeah.
to aid in the situation, and I think he'll understand that. from
Well,
this
yeah.
meeting discussion. we
Goes
just
from non,
had.
it goes from development.
All that we can possibly do,
non-development.
we will definitely help them on the way.
Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like we're all on the same page for that, so we'll reach out and get in touch with him.
thanks.
Then for correspondence, we already touched on Trudy Kerr's letter, children at play signs at Boymount, so Kevin's gonna look into that. Was there anything else in correspondence that anyone wanted to discuss? The only thing I noticed was that there's some more support for the to CSCs of the research for looking into the capital gains tax on primary residence, which is we're not going to have anyone move to our area if there's a tax on the primary tax, because people come to our area because we're a rural town. People will move here, you can buy an affordable house, develop it, and still have some money in pocket, or you have
Without development fees.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Like we're trying to keep our costs
You
down.
see?
But okay, so it doesn't look like there's any other correspondence. There's no correspondence C. So we move to new unfinished business, and we'll lead with the mayor's report.
I'm gonna strike the mayor's report and I'll wait until after Amo.
Okay, no mayor's report.
I think that then I'll have better context for some of the things that I have to report on.
Perfect. So EGC update.
Just that everything seems to be rolling along okay. The water's down a little bit in this last few weeks. But I think, Jack, the amount that we've received of rain in the previous months helped offset the dry spring. So hopefully moving into the fall where the rainy season is coming, we can hopefully get a little bit.
Yeah, and I guess the other thing you could add on, Tim, is that the Bone Shore River drawdown amendment has been approved.
Okay.
So it's no longer a trial like it was. It's just got a fully approval there a couple of days ago.
So that'll be an act, it'll start with the drawdown procedure in September then?
Yeah, after the long weekend. they'll
Long weekend in
start-
September on the,
Start drawing down around Lake.
okay.
So it'll help to rectify the floods that we see on 17 and 19.
Give
Whereas,
us-
whereas last year we had a nice smooth transition, very, very good flood.
Created a little bit bigger buffer zone for us that shall we see a big freshet next year?
Yeah, for sure. So that's been fully approved. So it was last year was a trial basis, but all the requirements have been met and now we've got full approval.
We just got the thank you note actually,
Just as we
just
stated.
just a minute or two ago.
Oh, fantastic.
Just saying thank you for, supporting this initiative so that it's permanent, not,
Excellent.
yeah.
Perfect. So everything's all good at the EGC then.
Well, no, just all your upgrades finished, Jack, everything working?
Well, we're still, because of the COVID thing, we're still just, Will's got to come down and finalize the gates.
Okay.
And then he has to, remember that one that unit I touched on earlier with, that was damaged?
Mhm.
So we have to, that would be part of the annual maintenance. So we repair that.
Perfect. Library update, pretty much. They have 15 registered kids for the reading club that's sponsored by TD. The book sale, which is the last weekend, they raised $3,500 over the sale.
Wow.
The auction, they raised about $1,500 on the online auction, which is really good. So fundraising's going good. Pretty much everything at the library, since everything's more opened up now, there's more kids coming, more people coming to the library, more uptake in adults and seniors. So everything's kind of going good, especially when you reflect the numbers from last year to this year. And then the best way to put it, everything's doubled. So like we have more people coming in utilizing our services. And yeah, so that's pretty much the update I have for that. But I thought, yeah, the book sale was a great success, and they have some inventory left over. So they're going to probably look at one potentially doing in the fall as well. So yeah.
Did the internet issue get resolved?
I would assume so. Yeah. And then so that's everything for that. Delcan rezoning, we've already discussed that in length, and we'll be doing our public Zoom meeting, and then we'll have our other meeting coming up as well on the 31st. So the River Run Ridge subdivision extension. So I'm guessing that's just the yearly. The yearly is up again, so we just have to renew it. Okay, perfect. Any comments, or just same thing we did last year?
Same thing, yeah, we tried to get it done this year, but anyway, it didn't meet all of everything that needs to be done prior to the subdivision agreement coming forward to council. So we have the subdivision agreement pretty well done.
Yep.
But all the boxes were checked, so one more year and we should finally be finished by next spring.
But I was living on the road just a little ways from it. I do know they're working hard on trying to get everything up and going. So
the amount of soil that's
It,
behind there.
I do know they're absolutely amazing.
It's
the amount of topsoil.
There's like 800 truckloads or something
Yeah.
of soil.
So no, I could see they put the effort in to try and get those boxes checked off. So there's no disputing their.
And we
They're
fulfilled
trying.
all of ours.
Perfect.
So
No, that's all. No, that's awesome. Speed sign 512, we have discussed. Established the next meeting, and we'll be having our public Zoom meeting on.
It's not a public meeting, it's a town hall.
Town hall.
Can't call it a public meeting. Yeah.
Okay.
So our next meeting will be the 31st.
August 31st.
August 31st, and after that, September 7th. So, okay, perfect.
So much for having the summer off, eh, guys?
What about Tranquility Bay?
No, that's just you and I and Jason.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And don't forget, we've got our walking tour with Patrick Severio tomorrow.
Oh, it's gonna rain out.
Is it gonna be rained out? Then
Okay, perfect. So you guys have your walking trail tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to hearing about that at the next
Walking tour.
Walking tour. I'm looking forward to hearing about that.
Rain
so-
showers.
Perfect. Bring your raincoat. I can provide one.
Bring your ATV.
So then we media session. Don't see any media here, so that's perfect. And then we do have 4 closed session items.
it's supposed to rain tomorrow.
So the committee proceeded in closed session in accordance with the Municipal Act 2001, Section 239.2, to deal with the matters as indicated below. Personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees.
I'll move that.
Could I have a
Can we have a
mover?
5-minute break before we go into close?
Yep. So we have a 5-minute break and then we'll go into close.
Thank you.
No problem. Want to take us off YouTube?
I will, but if we say all in favor of that one first.
Yeah, move
All in
there.
favor.
Yeah.
Vote by
perfect.
Tim.
I got 2. I need a third vote.